And we're live on this end.
Hey everybody, Aaron Blaze here. Sorry you don't see me. You're looking at my desk. See, here's my hands. Right here. Hi. We're going to do some paper animation today, and I thought I'd do some lion drawings because we just recently, just a few days ago, had the anniversary of the Lion King, the original Lion King release, and I think it was June. What the heck was it? June 8th
It was
or
just the
12th
other
or
day.
something like that. Yeah, it was just, I can't remember which day it was, but back in 1994.
I think it was actually the 15th. It was Wednesday.
Yeah, so I thought I'd do some lion animation, just my own character. I was doing some practice lion sketches here earlier, and we've got a couple other platforms. We got TikTok going with us today too. So we thought we'd try a whole bunch of different platforms. We're all in this together. We got YouTube, we got Facebook, we got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Twitch, we got all kinds of platforms. And so I'm going to be drawing today. I'm going to be doing animation on paper. I'm going to be answering questions. We got Vedanta answering questions. We got Dustin answering questions. And we've got Nick, MIA. Nick is actually on the road today. He and his band, X-1, are performing tonight. And so they are on the road. They're performing in St. Pete. And so if you're in the St. Pete area, go to, I can't remember where they're playing. Shoot.
I didn't know he's in a band.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've been practicing for quite a while.
He was in Misfits cover band in the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
But now they have their own album on Spotify.
Yeah, pretty
What?
amazing. Yeah. So Nick is playing tonight. Nick and Steve, who's also working with us, and they are playing tonight. X-1's name of the band. So anyway, we are going to do some animation. Before we do that, I want to remind you guys, if you remember in the live stream last week, I did an image of this elephant kind of in a standoff with a lion. We called it standoff. People requested that we do prints of it, so we did. And so if you go on over to creatureartteacher.com, are you showing the slide, Dustin?
Yes, I am.
Great. Go on over to creatureartteacher.com and go into our prints and merchandise section. You can find that print for sale. We're limiting it to only 100 prints. So if you're interested in it, go over to creatureartteacher.com and check it out. We're actually over halfway sold out on them. So if you're interested in it, check it out. Also, I just want to mention we've got over 500 hours of content on our website of art instruction, all kinds of stuff, and so, one of the best ways of consuming all of that, you can buy it a la carte, one at a time if you want, but one of the best values, or actually the best value, is to become a member. And when you become a member, you actually get everything we have on the site. Everything is included. Everything we produce during the year that you are a member is also included. So after you sign up, if I produce more stuff, you don't have to pay extra for it. It's automatically part of your membership. So that's the best value. It's actually, we call it the best value in art education online. So check it out.
TikTok is the only one not getting that flyer,
The slide?
the slide.
Oh, yeah.
So for TikTok, you're not seeing the advertisement.
Yeah, but if you go on over to creatureartteacher.com and click on the prints and merchandise section, you will see the print.
Awesome.
Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and dive in, because I've got a lot of drawing I want to do today. So I was just doing some, I thought, a lion roaring. It's a nice broad action. I want you to be able to see the drawings moving and that sort of thing. So I thought a lion kind of coming back and roaring would be kind of fun to do. So I am going to do that. So what I want to do is start with the lion. I'm going to draw up in this kind of quadrant of the paper so that everyone can see. And if I start getting into the view, my head gets in the way, let me know. So what I want to do here is I want to start with kind of a neutral pose, right? So I'm going to have his head coming down. I've got this character kind of in my head that I've drawn before. my own. It's not really a Lion King character. It is a lion character, but
Erica commented on Facebook saying, I got Frankie a print ordered.
oh, nice.
What kind of pencil is that?
This is a Mitsubishi 10B pencil. It's a very, very, very soft lead pencil. I'm gonna just draw a couple times. I'm not sure if I'm gonna. Sometimes I'll take it takes a few passes to get the drawing that I like.
And Jussiara from YouTube asks, do you like dinosaurs?
I love dinosaurs. Who doesn't like
dinosaurs?
Who doesn't like dinosaurs?
Actually, a really great series that you've been watching.
Yeah, the Prehistoric Planet.
Yes, I watched that. I binged that series.
Yeah, it's Apple TV.
Yeah, I binged that series last week. Amazing, amazing show. It's only 6 episodes, but I think they're like an hour long each.
Yeah. I drew them too big. I'm gonna start over. I'm not liking that design either. Let's start again. See, sometimes you just gotta warm into it. I'm gonna draw a little smaller because he's got a.
And I'm asking questions just for TikTok, but how long have you been drawing, Aaron?
I have been drawing for about 52 years. Literally.
And how long have you been animating for?
33 years. Actually, no, 35 years. I've been animating, holy cow, 35 years. Wow.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Someone's trying to do the math. 52 years. Since you
Yeah.
were a little kid.
Yeah, since I was about 2. I started drawing when I was 2 years old. I'm 54. I was drawing recognizable stuff. My mother used to tell me, she'd give me, back in the day before there was no plastic grocery bags, everything was paper. And my mother would take paper grocery bags because we couldn't afford art supplies. And she would tear them up and, flatten them out for me. And she'd put me in my high chair and I would draw in my high chair. But, when I was 2, she told me I was drawing people and animals and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know how truthful that is, but it's a cool story.
Hassles on Twitch asks, do you ever find it hard to find motivation or inspiration for caricature designs? Any tips?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, especially, starting out, you're going to go through art block, and yeah, sometimes it is hard to figure out what you're going to do, but a lot of times I go out into nature, I look at documentaries, I do a lot of research into, what it is that I'm going to be doing. And so that helps with that block that you might go through. And then a lot of it is just sitting down and drawing. You just got to sit and draw.
CMC from YouTube asks questions about arcs. What should we keep in mind about how to do them when animating?
Well, you want to you got to picture it in your head as you're doing it. Where those arcs are going to go. When you animate, you're thinking about a 3-dimensional space. That's what you're moving your character in. But it's actually moving on a 2-dimensional space, right? A piece of paper. So I try to move things not just in 3 dimensions, but I also think about the actual paper itself and the screen and how that might be affected. How you can move things kind of in a graceful way across that field. And so I move things, in arcs also in 2 dimensions, even if they're moving in 3 dimensions. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but it's thinking of both aesthetics at the same time.
Cassandra said on TikTok, what are you trying to draw? I wish I could be like you someday.
I'm drawing a lion. And
you're going to animate him, right?
And I'm going to animate him, yes. So right now, he's just kind of sitting in this kind of neutral pose.
Nick Birch commented on Facebook, and Nick says, unrelated to stream, but Murphy's Law kicked in today. Just paid off the Kia last week, and today the AC went out. 2-hour drive to Sarasota was a real joy.
Oh my gosh, because it's like 95 degrees lately.
Yeah, it is. It's been hot.
Yeah. So since I'm making up a character as we go, I've kind of got a character I kind of like, but I think we can push it even more, make it even better, make him stronger. So I'm gonna the way this is how we used to do it back in the old days is just drawing, overdrawing. So I'm going to try something a little different. I want him to feel a little bigger.
A question from Twitch asks, I'm afraid to go from drawing from pictures to drawing from real life. Do you think it's better to start with the landscapes or animals and not people?
You just draw whatever. Don't be afraid. It's only a drawing. That's the first thing. Don't be afraid. It's just a drawing.
TV Stars 14 on TikTok says, have you ever done any architectural drawing?
Yes, I've done lots of it. Actually, one of my first jobs when I was 18, I worked for an engineering firm. And one of the things I had to do is architectural renderings of buildings.
And any advice for people that want to get into animation and maybe like work at Pixar?
Yeah, well, first of all, those are great places to work. So many people want to work there. You just know there's thousands of people that want to work there. And there are a lot of other options out there. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, hey, there's a lot of other options. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, basically, is what I'm saying. Because, there's especially nowadays, there's so many really great studios out there that are up and coming, and so my advice is do lots of drawing, do lots of animation, character design, whatever it is that you want to do for those studios, but keep an open mind as far as who you work for, because like I said, there's a lot of great options out there. All right, so now I'm getting into a character that I'm liking a little more. He's a little bit bigger. He's a little more robust. A little more like Mufasa. Mufasa's quite a bit different than this guy, but it's a lion, so people are going to go, hey, that looks like Mufasa. That's the one thing doesn't matter what I draw. If I draw a bear, people go, hey, that looks like Brother Bear. If I draw a lion, hey, that looks like Lion King. It's just part of the whole deal.
555 Mafia says, I went to school with your daughter, Austin.
Oh, really?
Oh?
In California?
I'm not sure. 555 Mafia. Where?
I might know that person.
Maybe.
Especially if it was at Crescenta Valley High.
Yeah, if it was.
I'm not
because
sure.
Austin and I went to the same high school as well.
I'm not sure. Yeah, no, they haven't responded back.
Respond. And not
South Lake, Florida.
South Lake High School. Okay.
Lake. Oh.
So did you know them, Dustin?
No, I wasn't in high school at that point. I was still in middle school.
All right, so here's a start. I like this. I kind of like this drawing.
Not Robinson Fernandez on Facebook says, "Howdy, Mr. Blaze.
Howdy.
I was wondering why you chose the 10B pencil over another pencil."
It's very smooth. It's an extremely smooth pencil, and Glenn Keane, who's an amazing animator, someone who was my mentor when I was learning how to animate, he taught me how to animate, and he always has great pencils. He's always using really great pencils. And I saw that he was using this. Someone told me about it. And I was like, you know what? I want to try using that. And sure enough, it's an awesome pencil. The Mitsubishi 10B.
That's what you're using?
Yep.
Mitsubishi 10B.
So here we go. There's our first lion sketch.
Do you ever do realistic stuff?
Yes. Oh, I do lots of realistic stuff, mainly in my paintings.
Cold White Fire from Twitch asks, "How come you don't use the light table?"
I don't use a light table because it tends to like jumble up the lines, especially if I'm laying drawing over drawing, and I want to see each individual drawing. And because when I'm animating, I'm trying to see the shapes animate, not the lines. And so, plus it was how I was taught. You know, Glenn Keane, once again, I'm talking about him earlier. He really kind of not forced us, but really harped on the idea of not using the light table and just seeing the animation as you flip it. Right now, obviously, there's nothing to see because I've just got one drawing. But it was all about seeing the animation as we flip it.
That pencil's not $55, right?
No.
No, it's 120.
Someone's like, no.
No, it's not $55. Matter of fact, I think I got a whole pack of 20 of them for about $12.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is that paper thinner than normal paper?
No, it's actually a little bit thicker. It's a little thicker, a little heavier. So the next pose I'm going to put him in is he's going to come back. He's going to anticipate. He's going to anticipate the roar. So he's going to come back first.
Edwin Rodriguez on YouTube asks, "What is a recommended number of drawings to put in a portfolio for any animation studio you want to send it to?"
Well, it depends on what it is that you're putting the portfolio together for. If you're doing it for animation, are you doing it for character design? Are you doing it for environmental design, visual development? You know, parts of that's all part of visual development. It all, like I said, so it all depends on what you're pulling it together for. But there is no set number. It's just whatever can give a pretty good representation of your work, and it should be really good work. A lot of people, if you're doing animation, I would recommend doing work that's going to show characters acting and emoting. I wouldn't do, a lot of people put their student work in there, like walk cycles and things like that. I don't recommend doing that. That's not what studios want to see. They want to see your ability to act and to emote.
But also, if you're going in for storyboarding, you show all your storyboards.
Exactly. You show your boards, you show your
layout.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you're doing layout, if you're doing storyboarding, I would have, for storyboarding, I'd have at least 3 or 4 sequences in there for storyboarding. Just show variety. So see, it's kind of squashing a little bit as he comes down.
And just for some people who may not be as familiar with you, they're asking if you do digital art as well.
Oh yeah, so I do a lot of digital art. Let me give you my history. This is for those of you that don't know who I am. I started out as an animator back in 1988. I was trained and then started working full-time for Disney in 1989. And I was an animator for Disney for 21 years. I left in 2010. And during that time, I worked on The Rescuers Down Under and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, Mulan, and I co-directed Brother Bear. And so did a lot of animation. I've been an animator for 35 years. But I was also an illustrator. I went to school for illustration. And so I brought my illustration skills kind of to the table when I became an animator. And that's how I kind of became a designer and a paint, just a designer in general. And I still do a lot of digital art, painting, but I still do obviously a lot of animation too, which is what we're doing today. And I wanted to show it to you old school. That's how this is how we used to do it.
You also do oil paintings, watercolor, charcoal.
Yep.
You do a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
The mediums.
So what's happening here is he's doing the anticipation. He's anticipating the roar. He's coming down before he's going to roar out there. So I'm kind of squashing his head down into his mane.
Someone said they love the drafting desk.
Yeah, this is my actual desk that I had at Disney. I've had this desk for over 30 years. Matter of fact, I've got a little carving down in the lower right of my desk. The day that I started on The Lion King, I carved a lion into my desk. That was in 1992. So that was 30 years ago. I carved that lion into my desk.
So this is an actual Disney animation desk.
This is my actual Disney animation desk. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And you can still find a few of these out and about for sale, although they're not cheap, that's for sure.
Nick was able to get one at one point.
Yeah. We have a friend that had kind of a surplus of them.
From Edwin Rodriguez on YouTube, any advice about storyboarding?
Yeah, I mean, storyboarding, obviously, it's sequential storytelling, right? So, or image making to tell a story. And so, my biggest piece of advice is understand cutting, understand cinematography, understand story structure, understand staging. I'm a firm believer that storyboard artists have to be some of the best artists in the movie. Mainly because, if you think about it, storyboard artists are the first artists to actually take the written word, the script, and to turn it into a picture. They're the first word, when you sit down and you read a script, especially if there's a group, you have a group of people that are going to make a movie, and we all sit down and we're going to do a table read, and we sit down and we all read the script, which I've done hundreds of. What's interesting is when you sit down and do that, you've got 20 people in the room, and in their minds, everybody has a different picture. There's 20 different versions of that movie in everyone's mind, right? And it's not until someone sits down and takes those pictures and turns them or takes those words and turns them into images. It's not until someone does that it becomes, all one image, one idea. So when someone finally does that, it becomes a common idea. So if you are the storyboard artist, you want to make sure you're putting out a really beautiful representation of the film. Understand the cutting, understand the cinematography, understand lighting, understand staging, all of that, so that you can really represent that story in the best way possible.
And from Neon Bat, how do you feel when young artists insist that quote references are cheating, unquote?
They're just young. They haven't been out in life long enough. How else? Everything is reference. How else do you learn how to draw? Everything is reference. Everything you draw, you learned from reference. Think about it. Yeah.
For like the earliest animated films, including Snow White, they would actually film a live action version of it, like a mock-up version, to get reference from.
Yeah. We brought, at Disney, they brought deer into the studio when they did Bambi. When we drew Lion King, we brought lions into the studio so we could understand how to draw lions.
In photographic reference, I think that people say, it's just make sure it's your own, or that you own it or have rights to your own.
I use tons of reference. I use reference all over the place. I have all my life.
And
now,
speaking of reference,
and using that reference allows me to be able to do stuff like this out of my head later on as well. So there we go. So you can see he's squashing and kind of getting that ready to roar. His head, the mane comes back here. See that?
What is rotoscoping?
Rotoscoping is filming something on, with a camera first, with a film camera, movie camera, and then drawing over the frames, basically tracing the frames. That's rotoscoping.
Yep, and the tracing over the image is called a spline.
So if you know the old Aha video, "Take on Me," take on me, that one.
Take on me.
Yes, that one. That's all rotoscoped.
So why are you doing paper animation and not digital?
I'm doing paper animation because people dig it. I do a lot of digital animation, not 3D digital. I do hand-drawn digital. I draw on a Cintiq. But it's funny, I have a lot of younger viewers, viewers that weren't around when we were doing paper animation. And so I've had a lot of people really interested in just the idea of doing paper animation.
There's something magical.
Well, I definitely think there's something magical about it in the sense that I can just sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper and I can bring something to life. That to me is absolute magic. So here's the hard part. This is drawing, getting that roar, getting that open mouth. I got to get that mouth open and think about that anatomy.
Question: can you make a tutorial of taking an animation from paper to camera to TVPaint?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm working on an animated short right now called Snow Bear, and once we're done with the short, we're also turning it into a course on how to create an animated course, and that's going to be part of what we do.
And I know there was a question earlier, but I completely forgot about it. I don't remember if I already asked it, but are there any plans of making a strictly how to flip real animation course? Like traditional animation?
How to flip paper animation?
Yeah.
I don't see that as being a course, but I could do something like that, sure.
We can make that as a YouTube video.
Yeah. Actually, that's a great idea.
Don't you kind of have to be in person to not learn that?
No, I can show it. I can definitely show it. It just takes practice.
Everyone loves the fact that you're left-handed, by the way, on TikTok. It's like, lefty.
Yep. That's
All
funny.
artists are left-handed, man.
That's not true.
No, but it is funny. My mother's left-handed. My father's left-handed. My brother is left-handed, and I'm left-handed.
Have you ever used OpenTunes?
No,
What software do you use to animate on?
I use TVPaint to animate in.
Cold White Fire from Twitch asks, does your animation desk have a light table with it? At
Yeah.
the Art Institute...
Actually, let me show you. I'll just go ahead and show.
Yeah.
So this is my disc, and inside I've got the light. I've got it unplugged right now, but there's a light in here, and the disc goes in here, and the disc is there so I can, turn it around, do this kind of thing with it. Actually, this drawing's coming out too big. I'm going to draw it again. And then I've got the pegs down at the bottom. You can see pegs at the top as well. And it's all, the paper itself is got holes punched in it to match the pegs. And the paper sits right on the pegs. This is how we keep all the drawings registered to one another. And there you go.
And to follow up on that, the person also says that at the Art Institute of Seattle, we had animation desks that we flipped the pages as well as using the light table. And as you answer the light table part, do you just don't use it?
Yeah, I just don't use it.
You flip to see the movement, right?
Yep.
The drawings?
Yep. I don't use my light
It
table
might
at
be
all.
nice to show them at some point. It's not
Oh, yeah.
plugged in.
Oh, the light?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even plugged in. I don't
How-
have enough outlets.
If you were to guess, how many of the animators at Disney back then used the light table, and how many of them used the?
Most of the animators don't use the light table.
Most of them did.
No, most of them don't. Some of the cleanup artists would use a light table, especially when they're getting close, like really close in betweens. You know, where the drawings are barely moving.
So that the line was different.
Yeah,
Because they need to like make the refined drawing.
yeah.
Yeah, so for cleanup, the light table made more sense, but for the animators, it was easier to flip than to use
Right.
the light.
Are you doing keyframes right now?
Yes, I am doing keyframes. Very good.
Some Toe 59 on TikTok said that. He knows his stuff, don't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone else wanted to follow up on the rotoscoping question. Says, I think they did Fire and Ice movie from Frank Frazetta was rotoscoping.
It was. Yep. Very good.
Yep, a lot of Frank Frazetta's. In fact, were all of his?
Yeah, they were all
They were
rotoscoped.
all rotoscope. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the last one I watched of his was American Pop. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, but I think that wasn't that Batchy. I don't think
Was
that
it
was
Batchy?
Frazetta, but I might be wrong. I can't remember.
What's your favorite Miyazaki movie?
Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that is, again, it's a Mitsubishi 10B.
Yes.
But do you ever use other, like, graphite stuff?
Oh yeah. This is graphite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I use sometimes I use a total graphite stick. I don't have it with me right now, but
And Mini Muller. Okay. So TikTok just wants to know, do you use the 12 principles?
oh yeah, you can't. I can't animate, especially with Disney style character animation. The 12 principles are. That's what makes it what it is. Yeah. Matter of fact, if you go to my website, creatureartteacher.com, I've got an entire course on introduction to animation. Then I've got acting for animation, advanced animation, and I talk about the 12 principles, especially in my introduction to animation course.
I just looked it up. American Pop was directed by Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, so I was right.
Yep.
Someone said, is that a dog? No, they just tuned in.
No, see there, that's the drawing before. So he's a big fat lion, and he's roaring.
Yeah, and also, but Fire and Ice was also done by Ralph Bakshi.
Oh, okay. I thought that was. Oh, well, Frazetta consulted on it then.
They said, I forgot my animal.
Have you ever? Martin Berger's asking, have you ever animated a gorilla?
Matter of fact, my intern film, when I had to I had to animate a walk cycle. My intern film was a gorilla walk cycle. Yes, so the answer is yes.
Martin Berger. what's
Martin
up?
Berger.
You actually got to meet him.
I know, who's awesome.
I know, I wish I could have been there. Where you went? Where are you guys?
We were in Austria. We met in Graz, Austria. And then we met up again in Vienna and did some drawing at the Vienna Natural History Museum. We drew all day. That was really cool.
Aaron was gone for Europe for a whole month.
Yeah. That was a long one.
Sonja from YouTube asks, do you have any opinions about all the mainstream movies nowadays being 3D animated?
I don't have an opinion on it. It's it is what it is. The studios are doing it because they sell. Studios are they're known to be mostly followers. They follow the trends. If that's what's selling, then that's what they're going to do. It's very rare that a studio goes out on a limb and tries something new.
Is that why Disney stopped doing 2D?
Yeah, pretty much.
It wasn't.
Plus, we had, I don't think the 2D division was doing great stories. I think we kind of lost our mojo.
And the 3D is kind of slower.
Yeah, Pixar was doing great films.
Yeah, Toy Story and
Yeah.
who did Dory or Finding Nemo? Was that?
That was
Pixar. Oh,
Pixar,
yeah.
yeah.
So there we go. So he's. Actually, I want to pull this part down. This is always a weird angle to draw it, so it takes a little while. I'm going to pull this down because he's opening his mouth so wide.
And No Plastic from YouTube asks, do you draw more frames for fast action and less on slow movements?
Say that one more time.
Do you draw more frames for fast action and draw less for slower movements?
No, it's actually the opposite. So, for fast action, you don't have. If you wanted to move fast, you don't have as many drawings because you have to do it quicker, right? So you have to do it in less frames, although the movement's quicker.
The bigger change.
Bigger changes, yeah, and less drawings, for each movement. Now, if you want to slow things down, then you add more drawings, but the movement's not as broad. So, so there's that. Sorry.
What are some of your favorite artists?
My, animators. I love Glenn Keane. I love James Baxter. Those are two of my favorite animators. Mark Henn, Eric Goldberg. They're all great. Andreas Deja. As far as artists in general, I love a lot of the older, turn of the century artists. Joaquin Sorolla.
Singer Sargent?
Yeah, Sargent. Those are my absolute favorites. Sargent's probably my favorite artist of everybody.
Stephen Marshall on Facebook asked, when you worked at Disney, did your director check the spacing between each drawings in your animation?
No.
Or if it felt right, it was good enough?
No, no one checks the spacing. The director, what the director does is they look at the animation. They look at the shot. No one, they look at the actual acting, the physical acting of it. We shoot it on film, and then we show it to the director. And if the director has notes, then the animator goes away and addresses the notes. And we say, because I've been on both ends of it. I've had to work for the director, and I've been the director. And basically what it is you sit down and you say, okay, a lot of times we'll sit down and talk about the acting in the scene first. And then we'll talk about, basically it's the acting. I'm not going to sit down with an animator and talk about mechanics because that's their job. And so it's not, it's basic to the job is what I'm saying. So the big thing is, an animator, the old cliche is an animator is an actor with a pencil. And so that's what we would talk about is the acting. And then it's our job to go away as animators and make that happen.
Remember on Lion King when you did that whole shot and they're like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Just change the camera angle.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means you had to redraw everything.
Exactly, yeah.
Just change the camera angle.
And actually it's a meme that that goes around quite a
All
bit.
the time.
Yeah, it's a shot of Simba and Nala as cubs, and it's an upshot, and they just kind of slowly look at each other because Zazu has just talked about them being betrothed to each other.
Yeah, that whole bit.
Yeah,
And they're like, it's perfect. Just change the
yeah,
camera angle.
they love the look, but they said, but it's it's just we need a little bit more of an upshot. So I had to go back and redraw it all.
And that is used all the time as a.
Yeah. So there he is. There's his rawr, rawr, rawr. So you can get acting and movement just in 2 drawings.
Do you ever use guidelines?
No. I force myself to see it.
I got a coffees on TikTok that said, this dude was nominated for an Academy Award for Brother Bear.
I was.
And I don't know why I did that in a surprise.
Bruh.
But I was, yeah, we were nominated. I was nominated. We went to the Academy Awards, and we lost to Nemo that year. Finding Nemo won the Oscar, so I was in good company for sure.
Dang you, Nemo.
I know.
Didn't Lord of the Rings win that year also for the best?
Yeah, it was really cool. After the awards, we went to the Lord of the Rings party. I got really drunk that night. That was fun.
But there's so many cool little stories from the Academy Awards because it's like you met Prince, you met Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah, I met so many people. Yeah.
I still love the Clint Eastwood story.
Yeah, after we lost, we decided just to go ahead and start drinking, and so you can't get out of your seat until commercial break. So after we lost, we waited for commercial break, then we went out to the bar. There's a bar, just on our level for the nominees, and so we went out there, and it was the only person out there was Clint Eastwood. He was sitting at the end of the bar, getting a drink. He was his date actually was his mother. His mom was there, and so I don't know if he was getting a drink for them or whatever, but we were already a little bit we weren't feeling any pain, let's say. And so we went out there, and my wife at the time, she said we saw Clint Eastwood. And she goes, "Oh, I'm going to introduce you to him." And I was like, "No." And she goes, "Mr. Eastwood, my husband would like to buy you a drink." And we saddle up next to him, and he goes, "Well, the drinks are free, but you can get me a white wine."
Well, the drinks are free.
Well, drinks are free.
That's my Clint Eastwood impression. So there we go. So it's down and brah, down and brah. So these are the three key poses. Comes down and then roars out. Brah. So what I would do here now, these are my most important drawings. So I would put a circle on them, big circle. These are the key drawings. Okay. And then now what we want to do is we want to start animating. Those are the keys, but now we have to animate the drawings that go in between. And so what I do is I put the in-between drawing up on top, and I start flipping back and forth. And so what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the first drawing, then my in-between drawing, then the third drawing. And I'm always flipping back and forth like that. And I flip back between these two to see where to put the middle drawing. And trust me, there's 35 years of experience doing this. So, because that's another big question I get a lot is, how the heck do you flip? Well, I've been doing it for 35 years, so and a lot of times I get a lot of questions. People ask me, why are you flipping blank paper? Because a lot of times I'll just sit down and start flipping the paper, and I don't even have a drawing on it yet. It's so ingrained.
No matter how many times I see you do this, it's fascinating.
I'm glad.
It's just like mesmerizing.
It's fun. The first time I still remember the first time I animated something and shot it on video and played it back for the first time. And you feel like such a, I don't know, it's so incredible because it's you feel like Dr. Frankenstein, like you're bringing something to life. And it's just paper. It's really such a cool feeling. And I got hooked on it immediately.
Cuddle Wolf says, "You're going to be the next big Disney animator."
Sebastian Rodriguez on YouTube asks, "Hey Aaron,
Hey,
when using the wooden pencil lead holder with a thick lead, do you sharpen the lead? And if so, what do you use?"
I have a pencil sharp. I have an electric pencil sharpener right here.
No, for this pencil.
For the
Oh,
big
th-
one.
oh, for this?
Yeah.
For this one? No, I don't sharpen it. I just keep using edges and stuff. I don't sharpen it.
That's a holder, and that's like a rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry if you can't get to all the questions. We also are fielding questions from like.
Yeah, we've got so many questions flying in right now.
It's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. Oh, is Instagram? No.
Instagram as well.
Oh, you are doing it?
Oh, no, not Instagram, no.
It's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok.
So here I'm looking at the shape of the muzzle, and I know I got to get it to squash, but I don't want it to be as squashed as I end up. I got to start in here. So I'm trying to do something halfway in between, see? You can start to see it move.
From Twitch, do you believe animation on paper is truly dead, or something else?
Well, animation on paper, it's just not an efficient way of doing things anymore. Now, hand-drawn animation is not dead, but it's made much more efficient now by animating digitally. But that being said, I don't think animating on paper is dead, so to speak. Like I said, it's not as efficient. But there's a matter of fact, there's a woman that just got the Academy Award for the best animated short, Affairs of the Art, and she did everything on paper.
Wow.
And she just got the Academy Award.
Who's for short?
Yeah, Affairs of the Art. And why can't I remember her name? Oh my gosh. Sorry, I apologize for if you're listening. Affairs of the Art. It's a beautiful. The drawings are so incredible. She's an amazing animator.
Did you work on Monsters, Inc.?
I did not. No, I worked for Disney. I didn't work for Pixar.
How do you draw in between key positions in a cohesive manner, like without distorting shape, size, anatomy, etc.?
I'm doing it right now. You're watching me do it.
Practice.
Practice. This is why I don't use my light table. I'm flipping and I'm trying to see the shapes, and I force myself to look in between to see where it should go, and then I draw it.
But you also have so much experience as far as knowing the anatomy of the animal, the
Yeah.
mechanics of the animal.
Yep, we're always learning, mechanics and anatomy, and always studying that.
Do your research.
You got to do your research. Absolutely. And, so many of us, people ask how we do this and talk and teach at the same time as well. And, all of us, when we were at Disney, we would sit in each other's offices and visit and joke around and stuff, but we worked at the same time. And I think we all just got used to just working and talking at the same time. We'd sit and talk for hours, but we'd be working, as well.
Is it okay if I paint along with you?
Yeah, of course. That's the whole reason I do this. I want you to join in and learn. Yeah, draw with me.
What was your favorite movie you worked on with Disney?
My favorite movie, my two favorite movies I worked on with Disney. Actually, I have three: Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, and then the experience of directing Brother Bear.
Because The Beast was your first real big.
The Beast was The Beast was my first big character. I wasn't the supervisor of the Beast, but he was the first big character that I animated, and I really was really blessed with a lot of really great teaching and just generosity from Glenn Keane, who was the supervising animator of the Beast. He really gave me some big breaks that really affected my career, forever after that.
You shouldn't have come here.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You shouldn't have come here. You want to stay in the tower? That hurt. That was a big scene for me, where he gets bandaged in front of the fireplace, and they get into a big fight because he's being a big wimp about it. So there you can see, now you can see the movement. go in and hit a little bit of shading in there. So I flip them over. When I flip them over, see, now you can see how he kind of comes into his anticipation. Let's do another one. Once again, I want to remind you guys, I've got a website called creatureartteacher.com. Go on over to creatureartteacher.com, and I've got a brand new print available called The Standoff, which I did live on my live stream last week. And you can, if you click on my prints and merchandise section, you can find it there. We've only got 100 of them available, so if you want it, go check it out. They're going to be signed and numbered. So here I'm bringing the nose in. So you can hear me doing this. You can hear that paper flip, right? Imagine going into the studio and there's 300 people flipping paper. It's such a sound.
Oh, we're getting it on TikTok. Did you ever meet Walt Disney? Although you knew his brother or his nephew?
His nephew.
Which is Roy?
Roy, yeah, Roy Jr.
You actually hung out with him at his house and stuff.
Not at his house, but he came and hung out with us, and I had a meeting in his office in California with him. But he would come and visit us in our story room.
Oh, I thought it was like a retreat one time somewhere.
Oh no, that was with Eisner.
Oh,
Yeah, that was with Eisner. We did a retreat, and that was in Aspen. We actually flew the Disney jet out for that. That was kind of cool. So here I'm getting the details in, and as you get tighter and tighter, as the in-betweens get closer and closer, you got to be more and more careful, because you don't want you don't want your lines to flicker. You want everything to be nice and consistent.
Next time, could you do an elephant paper animation?
Ooh, that's a lot of line mileage there.
Here he is.
Give me some trunk trouble.
And from Twitch, how do you do animal studies? Do you focus on gestures or being accurate?
Both. I try to do accurate gestures. So, a lot of people think a gesture is just a quick, messy drawing, but a gesture is laying down something quick, but I'm also trying to be accurate with it. And then I'll sit down and I'll do more rendered drawings as well. But no, when I sit down to do life drawings of animals, I'm thinking about anatomy and trying to get the anatomy into the gestures themselves.
We've got over 7,000 people watching on TikTok right now, and they're loving it.
Oh, this is great. Well, we're animating a lion for those of you that are new coming in. I'm animating a lion doing a roar. This is his anticipation. He's getting ready to let that roar loose. This is kind of a celebration for The Lion King, which I worked on way back in 1994. Actually started working on it in 1992. The movie was released in 94. I was a young pup.
And actually, there's a video of you on Disney.
Yeah, the Disney Channel.
Really old when you had a mullet and braces, right?
No, the video that's on the Disney Channel. This is after I cut my mullet off.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, this is after I cut my.
Like so good, right?
But yeah, I had a completely different voice. It was really funny. I was 20, how old was I? 23 or 24. You can see, the movement starting to come together.
Someone's asking who we are. Dustin is Aaron's son.
Yes. And Vedanta is my fiance. My betrothed.
You can't talk like that.
You can say that's my fiance. I'll say that's a word.
Matter of fact, we're getting married next month.
We are small little.
Next month.
Just really just family.
Yeah. July 30th.
I thought it was gonna be like November or October.
Oh no, we moved. I told you that.
We're doing tiny, just family. It's very.
Yeah, I heard that part, but I thought the date was states.
Nope.
Oh no, because we're going to Lightbox.
Yeah, it was scheduled at the same time as Lightbox in Burbank. Is it still in Burbank?
It's in Pasadena.
On October, the weekend of October 15th.
Yeah, so if you're in Pasadena, come on out to Lightbox and see us.
Animation.
October 14th, 15th, and 16th.
And is that Bobby Chu
Bobby Chew.
from school? Is that schoolism?
Yep.
Yeah, he does a thing that's kind of like CTN but different.
Yep.
From YouTube, do I learn anatomy from the inside out or from the outside in?
I learned it from the outside in, really, because obviously you see what's on the outside first, and then when I learned, I saw what was on the outside, so I wanted to understand what was on the inside, making the outside what it is. I was a really creepy kid. I would bring home roadkill and all kinds of stuff and draw it so I could understand the anatomy, and then I would take the dead body and throw it up on the roof of our house and let the vultures kind of clean it, and then I'd go up there and I threw it up on the roof so that animals on the ground wouldn't take the bones away, because then I'd go up and collect the bones and study them and draw them so I could understand the anatomy. I never killed anything. I can't kill anything, but if I found it on the road, for me, it was like I wanted its life to have at least its death to have some kind of purpose. So I would go and bring it home. My parents were very tolerant of me. They knew I was going to be an animal artist, and so they put up with me doing this stuff. I remember I had this. I found this red-shouldered hawk that had been hit on the side of the road, but it was still in perfect condition. On the outside, and so I brought it home and put it in the freezer. But then I spent weeks taking it out, and then I would pin it up on the wall and pose it in like a flying pose, and I painted it. I did this this big life-size watercolor painting because I was a big fan of John James Audubon. Audubon was around the 1700s, and he would go out and he would hunt these different birds. I wasn't a hunter, but what he would do is he'd take the animals back to his studio, and he'd pin them up and he'd paint them, and this is how he cataloged these animals. And so, minus the hunting, if I found an animal dead or bird like that, then I would take it home and paint it. So anyway, I painted this red-shouldered hawk, and but then I entered it. I was 15 years old. I entered it in this citywide art contest, and I ended up winning first place.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Some people might think that's dark, but if they know you at all, they know you've got. I mean, look at what the skull is.
Yeah, it's all about understanding anatomy. It's not about being morbid.
And you're an animal lover.
I love animals. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's no different than a doctor, studying, having to look at cadavers to understand human anatomy and human physiology and that sort of thing. It's the same thing that I would do with animals.
And it says how, okay, so Southern Melville says, how did you cross paths with Glenn Keane, your mentor?
Yeah, when I was, so I went to the Ringling College of Art and Design, and I got an internship with Disney back in 1988. And so I'm going to do another drawing between these two. So back in 1988. So I didn't know animation. I was just an illustrator. Disney was actually looking for art students from across the country that had a good basis in drawing. And Ringling really good had some great foundations. One of the top illustration schools in the country, still is actually. And so I put forward my portfolio. I got accepted into the internship, and Glenn took me under his wing. And so I'd never met him. I didn't know who he was. He was just finishing up on Oliver and Company and just starting The Little Mermaid. So he was just starting Ariel, just finishing up with Fagin. And so I had him for 6 weeks, and he took me from a kid that knew nothing about animation. In 6 weeks, I was hired. They hired me, and I went back to school, finished my last year of school knowing I had a job. And I graduated school in 1989 and started at Disney. I actually left school a month early because Disney, the new studio that they hired me for, was opening. So they talked to Ringling and set it up that I could leave early, graduate early, and I went and started my job. 2 weeks after my 21st birthday. I was really lucky.
Marion Francis says, woo, really? I'm studying animation here now.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Ringling, it's funny. Ringling wasn't an animation school, and it wasn't until a few of us from Ringling kind of became successful and people started, wanting to go to Ringling because they were interested in animation. And so then they decided to start an animation program. It was really interesting because when I went, there was no such thing as animation at Ringling. Matter of fact, you couldn't even get your degree at Ringling. They weren't a 4-year school; they were only a 3-year school. So I never got my degree. I went for 3 years, and then started my job. I never.
Now,
Yeah, Ringling now is like $51,000 a year. When I went, it was $8,000 a year.
I remember in the 90s when I was thinking about it, 15 a year.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's up to like 50.
it's crazy. And I've got a lot of stuff. Not to promote my stuff all the time, but it's a lot cheaper. I've got animation, and we're going to have a lot more stuff coming down the road. Courses on my site.
On YouTube, we have a question that is, which the person who was asking the question donated $2 for this.
Ah, cool.
$2 Canadian dollars.
Thank you.
And what are your thoughts on John Lasseter, the creator of Pixar?
I know John's had a lot of stuff against him that came out in the news, and he had to leave his job. I don't know about any of that stuff. He was a great boss to work for, from my point of view. He's incredibly smart when it comes to creative and story structure and just knowing what's right for a movie.
He's at Skydance now, right?
Yeah, he's working at Skydance. He's heading up their division now. And when I worked for him, I didn't have any problems. So, but that doesn't mean, it's just, that's my experience.
And moving on. And as new people keep coming on, why are you flipping the paper?
I flipped the paper like this because I'm doing an in-between drawing. It goes between these two drawings right here to smooth out the action. But my in-between drawing is on top, so I have to flip. I have to look at the first one, look at the second one, look at the third one. First one, second one, third one. And so I flip like that to see the movement. And you flip your paper. People are asking me before, just why do I flip the paper in general? You flip the paper so you can see the movement. I don't use a light table. So as I'm flipping, I'm looking to see where to put the in-between drawing. And I don't use a light table because I don't want to see a whole bunch of just scattered lines. I want to see the shapes that I'm animating. Greg Walker?
He says, do you remember hanging out at the pier in Naples for our summers?
Oh man, I definitely remember hanging out at the pier. Absolutely. We lived at the pier.
Sean still lives in Naples.
Yeah, Sean Stromdahl, if you remember Sean Stromdahl. He was my best buddy. We've known each other since the 3rd grade.
Eating pork fried rice and skimboarding.
Yep, that's right. I've told the story many times. That's all we could afford is $2. For $2, I could get a pint of pork fried rice and water, and we'd go down to the beach and we'd skimboard and surf until sunset, and then we'd go to the Chinese restaurant and order pork fried rice. We'd sit at the picnic table and eat. Yeah, and then we'd go home and go to bed and then do it again the next day.
And Shavir just donated another $5 Canadian saying thank you. He's my idol. Love from Canada.
Ah, thank you.
You know, in TikTok, we're getting a lot of gifts and stuff, roses, and thanks everybody for that. I know I'm not calling you out.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you so much, you guys.
Roses.
And go on over and
diamonds.
go ahead and follow me if you're not following me already.
And check out his other social media if you're just on TikTok or just on Facebook. You know, because you have a ton of content on YouTube.
I've got so much content. I've got over 500. I've got 507 over 570 videos on YouTube, and they're all instructional.
All free.
All for free.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
When do you want to visit South Africa for another safari?
Oh man. Well, I'd love to visit I've never been to South Africa. Where I went before was Kenya. I've been to Kenya 4 times, and I love Kenya. The Masai Mara is one of my favorite places. But there's a lot of places in Africa that I want to get to. I want to get to South Africa. I want to get over to Namibia and see the Skeleton Coast. I want to get to Botswana. I want to go to the Okavango Delta. I want to go to Victoria Falls. I want to go to Rwanda and see the gorillas. So lots of places that I haven't been yet that I want to get to.
Yes, South Africa. Everybody wants you to come over there. Everybody wants you to go.
Actually, you know what I want? I want to go shark cage diving in South Africa. That's what I want to do. And Nick. Well, Nick and I have this thing that we want to do because no one's ever done it. And hopefully someone won't do it now that I'm mentioning it. But I want to take down like a drawing surface and like a grease pencil somebody can draw on underwater and do live sketching of sharks underwater. I think that would be.
You can even put an iPad in a sealable case.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Oh, I know. But
I don't know if it would work or not, but it would be interesting.
Draw sharks underwater live.
Yeah.
You're crazy. You're a wild man.
Crazy, man.
Crazy.
So this is his anticipation. So here's our 5 drawings. So you can see them kind of sink in. You see that movement? Is that coming across?
Yes, we can see it loud and
You
clear.
can see the top of it. The first piece of paper and the last one, but...
Maybe if I flip this
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
There. So if I flip this way, you can see. So what he's doing is he's kind of gearing up. He's rearing, getting ready to do his roar. So he comes back.
Bearing down.
Yeah, he's bearing down. It's like, getting ready to pitch a ball. He's getting ready to scream. And then there's a roar, 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 roar. See, that roar comes right out.
So when he roars, that's less drawings because it's quick, right? It's like...
Yeah. I'm going to do just as many drawings because it actually would be more drawings in the beginning. I would do more drawings in here, but I've got enough in there that you guys can see the movement.
One of my Discord friends is currently watching on YouTube. I was asking if you could If you could draw the line being booped on the nose in the animation.
With my small hand.
Boop.
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 I'm going to have him come, he's coming down, and as he comes forward, it'll come down in an arc before it goes up.
Is there a special hole punch for this type of pegboard?
Yes.
Or, oh, okay, I thought you ordered it with the holes in it.
Oh, no, I do order it with the holes in it, but they have a special hole punch that they use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that they use to do
you
it.
punch your own paper?
Yep.
What weight is this?
This is, I want to say it's 22 pound.
And the size is something called field?
It's 13, well, this is 16 field paper, and the size, I believe, is 13. This one's 13 and a half, although what we used at Disney was 13 by 17, I believe, inches. It's just barely translucent.
Do you do anything with these papers when you're done with them? These drawings?
Yeah, not usually. We might sell these. We might put them on the website, see if anyone wants to buy them as a set. I might do that.
I don't know why anyone.
But when I do this kind of stuff, it's just a demo. So once I'm done with them, they just go by the wayside.
Can you guess? Oh wait, it says, can you believe this is how they used to make movies?
Yep. And this is, I mean, even now, hand-drawn animation isn't much quicker than this. Although, it is a little quicker because with digital drawing, I'm not having to reach up and grab paper. I'm not having to flip back and forth like this because I can click with my keyboard, and there's little things that make it more efficient. So you can see as I flip back and forth, you can see how that muzzle, because I'm starting to open his mouth, I'm going to open it this way.
So, how do you suggest getting your foot in the door at an animation studio?
Well, you got to submit a portfolio. And the way you do that now is you go to the website. You go to the studio's website and you get all the information there. That's the best way to do it. And, getting your foot in the door is having good work. You got to have the work to back it up.
And aren't there also networking through like animation conventions?
Yeah, there's animation conventions. There's definitely ways to do that. There's a lot of social media. Getting stuff out on social media and getting a following definitely helps nowadays. Especially nowadays, because a lot of the people coming that are at the studio nowadays, especially since I left, they're all younger than me, and they're all social media, magnets, and so they've all got their ears to the beat. They know what's going on, and so if you've got a good social media presence, then more than likely somebody at the studio will know who you are.
We've got two more donations on YouTube. One from Xeris for $5 says, "I can't wait for your course on the dark arts of animation, animal style."
On what style?
Animal style.
Right on.
And Brian Blanchard donated $5 Canadian saying,
"Thank you.
4 years of experience doing IBs hides your breakdowns and slow ins and outs here. Can you talk about what you're thinking when approaching an in-between's timing?"
Yes. So when I'm approaching an in-between's timing, I'm either doing a straight in-between, which is a drawing directly in between two key drawings, or I'm thinking about favoring a key on either end, either the starting key or the key I'm going into. That's really the first thing I think about. Am I going to do it right in the middle, or am I going to favor the in-between? So right now, if you look at this in-between, I'm favoring this drawing. If you look at these two aren't quite as different as these two, right? These two are really different. So what I'm doing is I'm slowing out of this pose and coming into here and going into the roar. So I'm favoring that first drawing and going into the roar with the anticipation of quite a few drawings in between here into that roar. So I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always thinking about what do I need to do? Where is this drawing going to fall and the timing between these two keys? And then, then it's just a matter of breaking it down with more and more detail. Because once I have this in-between drawn, then I think about, okay, what's the in-between between these two drawings? And then I got to get something even more tight in between so I can have a nice slow out of that pose and into the big roar.
Roar.
So much of animation, hand-drawn animation or animation in general, is just having good arcs and good slow-ins and slow-outs. A slow-in meaning slowing in, getting drawings closer and closer to the final pose, and slow-out meaning getting drawings that are closer and closer to the starting pose. Slowing out of the starting pose and slowing into the ending pose.
Are you at Disneyland right now, Brian?
No, I'm not. I wish. I'm at my home in Apopka, Florida.
Pixelated Fairy on YouTube asks, what tools are better to blend with, or are your fingers the best tool?
You know what? I got it right here. Tissue.
Tissue?
Yeah, when using graphite, the best blending tool is a tissue. And you just go in, and it just blends perfectly. You can see I can get nice smooth gradations with it. Very, very smooth.
And are there any other blending tools you can use?
Yeah, you could use stumps, paper stumps, things like that, which I don't usually use. I just use these. Use tissue.
Your normal use is tissue.
Q-tips can do it. Q-tips are a good tool. I've got Q-tips right here, actually.
And then you clean up with your rubber eraser. A lot of people
yeah.
don't know about the kneading eraser.
And then I clean up with this kneaded eraser. It's a stretchy, gooey eraser, and that's what I do all of my erasing with. I don't erase with a pencil.
I never knew about this before I met you.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Using crappy old,
Rubber erasers.
no, like the end of a pencil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those.
Like you get down
Either
to the
they-
metal and it scrapes your paper.
Yeah. Or it gets stale and it just leaves a
It
stain.
crumbles.
Yeah.
They either erase. Yeah, those erasers either erase really good, or they end up becoming so stiff and they end up just smearing the.
Yeah, they
the
stain.
paint everywhere. And Megan House donated $5 on YouTube. Have you ever animated guinea pigs?
That's a funny question. I have animated, not guinea pig specific, but animals similar. I've animated rodents for sure.
I love the unmade. You worked on a couple movies that were unmade. They never got made. They got shelved.
Yeah.
But the long shots,
Yes.
there's lots of little animals in it, right?
Yeah, they were all lab
Best
animals.
movies no one ever heard of.
Yeah. This is a movie that we wrote, and we were developing it at Disney, and ultimately Disney decided not to make it. But it was a movie called The Long Shots, and it was about these. It takes place back in the '60s, when they were first launching animals into space, and so it's about these lab animals that go up into space, and something goes wrong with their ship, and they have to figure out how to get back to Earth. It's kind of an Apollo 13 with lab animals, and it was a lot of fun and it was very funny. It was a very funny script. It was all meant to be a comedy.
The chicken.
Yeah, there was this one chicken that's in the story. His name's Chicken Bob, and the reason that he calls himself Chicken Bob is that he actually didn't have a name. He has a number, and his number is 808. And so he interpreted 808 as Bob, and because he just refuses to be a number. And he was very, very emotional because he was always getting they're doing experiments with hormones to get bigger, meatier chickens, and so he's always jacked up full of hormones, and so he'd get really emotional.
All those characters that you've gone through before, it's just so fun.
Yeah.
And Megan House donated another $5, saying,
Wow! Holy cow! Thank you guys.
And says the reason I ask is, about the guinea pigs is because rodents are so subtle with big personality.
That's
The reason
exactly
I
right.
ask is, how do you animate subtle movement dynamically?
Well, it's kind of they're opposites, right? So animating subtle dynamically, you can do a dynamic drawing that's got subtle animation in it, but it's really, for me, it's having the right look, the right expression, all of those things.
It's like you said, you're making the character act. Instead
Yes.
of an actor, I mean, well, there's the voice, but as drawing it, you're creating their emotion, right?
Yes. Animation, so many people think animation is the art of moving stuff through drawings. But it's actually the art of bringing things to life through drawings. And the reason why I make that difference is because sometimes to bring something to life, you don't have to move it. You don't have to move it hardly at all. It might be a character breathing to get the best impact. And, it's sort of like in music. Miles Davis said it, it's not the notes I play, it's the notes I don't play. And so a lot of times it's that way with animation. It's the movement that you don't do in order to make it sing.
I always think of the commercial that you did, the bear and the hare.
Yes, the bear and the hare.
And
Yeah.
how the bear, when he finally sees the Christmas tree, his eyes just open just
That's a perfect example.
so slightly, but it conveys all the emotion you need.
Yeah, the animation. I actually did that shot about 6 or 7 times, and I just kept pulling back and doing less and doing less and doing less, and it was really just his expression just widened about a line's width, and it was really just in the expression.
And I actually noticed that when Glenn Keane did his movie Over the Moon, there's
Yeah.
a scene where the girl, they go to close up on her eyes, and her
Super,
eyes just
super
open,
subtle.
Just her eyes just get a little bit bigger.
Yep, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it-
Super subtle.
The illustration from YouTube says, my dream is to meet you one day. Will there be an occasion in the future that you will come to Italy one day?
Yes, actually, we are trying to get to Italy within the year. There's a school in Florence that I might be going to do some lecturing, and so yes. No, that's in Spain. Sevilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Spain.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
That's all right. But matter of fact, we just got contacted by them again to see if we could come back, but I'm not going to be able to because I'm going to be neck deep in snow bear.
Kirabaku for Life Pio donated $4.99 saying, do you have any tips on starting your animation journey?
Yes, and thank you first of all for the donation. And yes, and really, it's all about just getting in there and drawing. It's animation is a commitment of love, and because it's not something that you can learn overnight. And when you're at your peak of your game, animation for every shot you create is a ton of work. You can spend weeks on something that goes by in just seconds. And so you have to be patient. You have to understand that it's a craft. It's a skill that takes a lifetime to. I'm still learning.
No shortcuts.
There's no shortcuts. Exactly.
It will take your lifetime to get good at it.
Yeah. That's my long-winded way of saying that. Yeah.
Real quick, Megan House just donated $10
Wow. Thank you,
saying,
Megan.
and writes, thanks, where can I find your class so I can work on my piggies? I have been working on a project for 4 years on my 4 boys, and I would love some pointers.
Go to creatureartteacher.com, creatureartteacher.com, and all of my courses are there.
The yearly membership is a great deal.
Yeah.
Every course.
Yeah, I really recommend the yearly membership.
And it's not just from
You
Marion. You've got how many other artists?
We've got, I believe, 7 other instructors, we've got over 500 hours of content on our education, and we're constantly adding more.
Additional digital storyboarding. Didn't you do some directing course with Chuck, or what was that one?
Chuck did a story pitching. He did one on pitching, and also on story. That one, they're really both. They're
and
big.
Chuck's
They're
the
great.
reason why
Chuck is my.
Sonic the Hedgehog was made.
Yeah, Chuck produced it. Yeah, he was producer. He got it going. Yeah. We only get the good ones on our website. You know, one of the things, when I was in school, we had a lot of instructors that they just weren't part of the industry anymore. And a lot of them were kind of out of touch. And I wanted to make sure that if I started teaching, like I'm doing now, I wanted to make sure that, you know, I wasn't just a teacher and I was kind of out of touch with everything. I want to make sure I could, you know, I was practicing as well. And so that's our, whoops, sorry, my, can you just hang it up? Yeah. Sorry, I got a spam call. I always forget to silence my calls when I do TikTok.
I'm pretty sure there's a do not disturb button somewhere.
There is. I just keep forgetting to do it.
Sorry, TikTok.
Just do it.
You had an incoming call.
What's
still
No,
going?
it's good.
Oh.
Some nerd on YouTube asks.
I thought you were
That's
saying-
really his name. Some nerd.
Some nerd.
Some nerd. So I had to say it that way. Some nerd on YouTube. How much did
Like,
your
come on, dude.
animation
Some
desk
nerd.
cost?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
How much did your animation desk cost?
These desks, I don't know how much they were when they were new, but Disney, I think I bought it off at Disney for like $1,100, but they're worth way more than that. I got it for $1,100 because of my history with Disney.
And that question was asked by some nerd in this room.
Yes, I am quite the nerd.
Dublaze.
Dibble.
Actually, Dustin's an amazing photographer, and he has some photo reference packs on the site as well.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for the shout out. And that is correct. On Preacher Art Teacher, you can find some of my reference photo packs, in which I have photo packs of wildlife in Africa, which was an amazing trip we went to last year. And earlier in the year, we also went to Yellowstone, and so there's plenty of wildlife in those packs. So go over there, check those out. And
Matter of fact, I think we're going to be doing a fundraiser for Yellowstone here soon.
yeah.
Oh, with Manny?
Well, we're going to be. Well, I'm sure we'll get Manny involved. We've got to do something because they are in some dire straits out there.
And about the photo packs, I do get this question quite often about the rules about using the photos. When you buy the photo packs, you can whatever drawings you make from the packs, the drawing, the artwork you make, you can sell, you can redistribute, you can auction off the artwork that you make with the reference photos. But you can't. But do not
Reproduce the photos.
reproduce the photos themselves.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, you're buying the rights to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they're called reference packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, you want a reference pack?
So here you can see them starting to open his mouth, coming towards camera, so he's getting a little bigger.
Alberto Rodriguez on YouTube asks, "Have you ever worked with Glenn Keane? You both are simply the best."
Well, you obviously came in late. Glenn
You
Keane,
came to the right place.
Glenn Keane was my mentor. Glenn Keane, I've known Glenn Keane for 35 years. And Glenn Keane is the guy that taught me animation. So yes, I know Glenn Keane, and I worked with him. Yes.
Aaron Blaze, trained by the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah,
Glenn Keane, if people don't know, Glenn Keane was
he was supervising animator of The Beast. Before that, it was Ariel. and he did Tarzan.
Didn't he do all the animation for Kobe Bryant's?
Yes, for Kobe Bryant's Deer Basketball. That was all Glenn. And actually, Glenn got the Oscar for that.
Yeah, he actually designed Ariel
Yeah.
in animation.
Yeah. Matter of fact, when I met Glenn, he was just starting animation on The Little Mermaid. And so I would go into his office and he had little, he had some of the shots set up. Part of Your World. Part of Your World. That song. He was starting to work that song out. And so he would show me the drawings and he'd ask me, so what do you think? Like I was just a 20-year-old kid and here he was asking me what I thought. It was pretty cool. That's one of the things about Glenn that's so great is doesn't matter who you are, or what you know or whatever. He's
humble.
He's humble, yeah. And he's very generous.
He also designed the beach, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So talented.
And then he asked me to work with him on the crew for the Beast. So that's how I ended up animating the Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
Don't care 13 says I'm officially obsessed with it.
Well, good.
Mango on YouTube donated $5 Canadian dollars. It says, "Hi, Aaron.
Wow.
I believe the artist Dominique Serafini, who worked under, I'm going to butcher this name, Jacques Cousteau?
Jacques Cousteau?
Jacques Cousteau? Jacques.
That's all right.
Was the first to draw sharks in a shark cage.
So he did do it.
Wait, was he underneath the water?
Yeah, he drew sharks in a shark cage.
Well, hey, it could be the second.
I think that's cool. It's so cool. I want to do it.
And Joss donated 5 pen, PEN. Is that I don't know what currency that is, but it is. But donated 5 of those. It says, any advice for a beginner?
Any advice for a beginner?
Yes.
Any advice for a beginner? What? Artist?
Artist,
animator, whatever. My best advice for any beginner is get your paper dirty. Get your paper dirty. Get in there and draw.
Yeah,
you're not learning if you're not drawing.
Take it to a dirt pile and just smear it on the dirt.
Yeah. No, but you're not learning unless you're drawing. And even more so, don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's only paper. So many people get so hung up on, I'm going to make mistakes, or I'm not as good as somebody else. That's my other big piece of advice is don't compare yourself to other artists. Be inspired by other artists. Don't worry if someone else is better than you or your perception is that they're better than you or whatever. Be inspired by them. See what else other people are doing and use it as fuel and get excited and use it as inspiration. So much of that there's so much out there nowadays, especially with Instagram and, TikTok and YouTube and everything that's out there. There's so much art being created that, I go on there and I'm just inspired every day. And it just makes me think of new things that I want to try.
Did you work on any 3D movies with Disney?
Any 3D
Did you
movies?
work on Romeo and Juliet for a short time?
I actually directed. I was director of Romeo and Juliet for about 7 months, and then I left that project to go to develop another project that I had in mind. And Kelly Asbury took over the project, and he finished it. Kelly Asbury was the director of Shrek 2.
Was that when you worked with Elton John?
Yes, yeah, we worked with Elton John, but sadly Kelly passed away a couple years ago. But Kelly was one of the first guys I met at Disney. I met when I worked on Roller Coaster Rabbit, which was a Roger Rabbit short back in 1989. Kelly Asbury was the art director. And so he liked my drawings, and so he would have me do character stuff as when we were doing storyboards and things like that. But then he went on to become a director and directed Shrek 2, which was the highest grossing animated film at the time. And then he finished up Romeo and Juliet. And then I went on to King of the Elves, which was going to be a computer animated film. But I never finished that one. I ended up leaving Disney.
And I did have a couple people ask why you ended up leaving Disney.
Well, I left Disney. It's it's kind of a personal thing, but I left Disney. Back in I got married in 1989, and that's who I had my kids with. Her name was Karen, and that's Dustin's mom, and my daughter Austin. But back in 2005, she was diagnosed with cancer, and I was making King of the Elves, and she got sicker and sicker, and we were trying everything to make things better. And I was working at home eventually to take care of her, but she passed away on March 11th of 2007, and it really, at the time, it just really devastated me. And doing animation was just kind of the last thing on my mind. I went back to work, but I was really kind of just phoning it in. And so eventually they took me off the movie, actually. And that's when I realized I really needed to make a change. And it was time to just kind of start over. Because my whole identity was my family and my work, and both were falling apart. So I decided to just completely start over. So I quit my job. I moved back to Florida, and here we are. And that was 15 years ago. And now I'm engaged again, and we're very happy. And Karen will always be in our hearts, and but she also, one of the last things she said to us is, "Keep on living. I love you all." That was the very last thing she said. And so I'm trying to honor her with that. So there you go. There's your big, heavy answer.
Tyrese on YouTube donated $9.99
Holy moly.
and asks, can you be hired at Disney if you're a self-taught animator?
Absolutely. No one cares if you're self-taught, college-taught, whatever. As long as you can do the work, that's all they care about. We actually have several, or at least when I was there, it's been 12 years since I was there. But when I was there, we had several self-taught artists.
Yeah, like some industries, there's a degree requirement. I feel like in artistic fields, if you can do the work.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just providing the work. So this is going to be our last drawing.
Last drawing. One more thing.
One more thing.
One more
I
thing.
did have somebody ask, what do you do for work now?
Well, you're looking at it. I create my own content. We're creating a film called Snow Bear, and but mainly I teach. I'm taking everything I learned while I was at Disney for 21 years, and in the industry beyond that. I've been animating for 35 years. And what I decided after my last job that I left, I decided I wanted to kind of share the knowledge that I've acquired over the years with young people just getting into the industry, and give them a head start, and because it was, I went through a lot of hard knocks growing up in this industry, and had to, we all had to learn things, the hard way. And so it's nice with social media and, the ability to share in the way that we're doing now, that I can, kind of give those experiences. And so that's what we do now. That's what that's how I make my living, is I create courses online, and people purchase them, and that's how we pay our mortgage and buy our food.
And you do some live events. In fact,
We do.
you haven't announced anything about the camping, right?
No, but we do have something in November that we will be announcing. We're going to be doing a workshop in November. We just don't have hard dates yet. We don't have the whole.
In person.
It's going to be in person, yeah. For those of you that want to come into Orlando and learn, it's going to be a watercolor painting course in person.
And
And
you have one strange, maybe not too strange. Mitch Beer says, I've been looking to get a new tattoo. Can I please use one of your artworks as a reference?
you can knock yourself out, no problem.
Well, I think that tattoo artist Kat Buckingham was sued recently because she used someone's art as the tattoo, but didn't change it at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I don't mind if you don't change it. You can do whatever you want with it. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure she was. Because she made money off of that, right?
She made money.
So that's passing it off as your own art.
And on YouTube, the Melver donated $5 asking, curious on what your thoughts were about Klaus. Thanks for the live stream.
Klaus, I think, is one of the best 2D animated films done since Sleeping Beauty.
Same. Just
It's
visuals and
insanely
everything about it's
beautiful,
just fantastic.
extremely entertaining. Jason Schwartzman is genius.
And when they debuted that CTN, I got to meet Sergio Pablo.
Yep, Sergio Pablos is the director. And he and I go way back as well. And yeah, it was great.
Do you mind if I answer a question?
No, go for it.
Um,
Keep it tight, baby. Keep it tight.
Nurul Huda Khan asks, what camera do you use for photography? I currently use Sony Alpha 1, and I do have an A6400 as well as my backup or B camera. So that's what my current camera is, along with big lenses.
Big fat lenses.
And you use that camera I have.
The A9 Mark II, yes. That was the last pro camera that I had.
Which one is mine? But awesome camera.
Oh, yeah.
So
The
we used
A9
in
Mark
Africa.
II is a fantastic camera for speed, but I immediately went for the Alpha 1 the moment when that was announced because I do a lot of bird photography, and the Alpha 1 was the first Sony camera to have eye autofocus that specialized towards birds. And so that was a huge game changer for me. And also with other animals, it's got a much better eye tracking. Yeah.
What's your favorite animal to animate?
Any big animals. I love animating cats. I love animating four-legged animals, just because of the mechanics. I love, when you get the mechanics down and you pull it off right, it's really cool looking.
Oh, you're cycled
Yeah, animating four-legged animals is just, I love the challenge of it.
You did that centaur.
Yeah, that was cool.
Cool.
That was on the cuff too. That was
Yes.
someone said, "Hey, animate a centaur." So I was like, "Okay, got to do it."
Was that on paper? Or
That was on paper, yeah.
Holy moly, we got a huge donation from Tree Frog with $19.99.
Holy moly! Thank
Saying-
you.
Saying, hello, Aaron. A big inspiration for me and love your work so much. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. You truly make me want to go back, get back into animation again.
Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. And yeah, man, it's animation is, hand drawn animation especially. I just love it so much. The idea that you can think of something, it can exist only in your mind, and then with a little bit of work, it comes alive, and you can share it with others. It's just a cool thing when you think about it. Pretty magical.
Curious 15 on TikTok says, I've never tried anything animation in my art, but you're making me want to try.
Well, I hope you do, because it doesn't take too much to get things, you can make things move in just a few drawings. See, look at that. Just a couple of drawings, and you can make things move. You can bring things to life.
You just start with a ball, with the sack of flour, right? And
Yeah.
certain exercises.
Actually, I'll probably do that as a live at some point. We'll do one of the some of the basic exercises that I learned when I was just starting out, the flour sack test and all of that. And we'll shoot it on video, and we'll go through the whole thing.
Yeah,
That's the other thing I'm going to be doing, just to let you guys know. I'm going to be doing for people that are members on the website. We're going to do kind of an exclusive thing while I'm making Snow Bear. People that are members on my site are going to be able to. I'm basically going to live stream the whole thing, and so you can tune in while I'm making it and see how we do it. And it's going to be you'll be able to ask questions and things like that. So it's going to be cool. Not always ask questions, because sometimes I'm going to have to just kind of
As you animate it?
yeah, put the blinders on and just draw, but you'll at least be able to be in the studio basically virtually and watch the process. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Working Dreamer asks, can you just go over one more time the animation software you use for program?
Yes, so pencil and paper. No, no, I use TVPaint. TVPaint.
TVPaint.
TVPaint software. Now, there's other pieces of software that are coming out that are really great. Calipeg is a piece of software for iPad that is really robust. I mean, you can do a lot with Calipeg. Matter of fact, I'm going to be doing another course on that. My brother did a course on it a while back, but now they've got the new version out, and so I'm going to be showing the new version, and it's awesome. So TVPaint, Calipeg, and there's free pieces of software out there that I'm not super familiar with.
Toon Boom, but you haven't.
Toon Boom Harmony is another piece. That's a subscription piece of software. I've never used Toon Boom. A lot of people do. It's vector based. Vector based is a little different for drawing, and so as far as I'm concerned, the closest to like traditional hand drawn animation on paper for me is TVPaint.
Oh, thank you for the seashell on TikTok. Appreciate it.
Zachary Haverlock on Facebook asks, how do you cool down a color when mixing paint traditionally? Do you just add blue?
Not always. Sometimes it's just graying it. Sometimes it's, adding white will cool it. It depends on the effect that you're trying to get. Blue will definitely cool it, but you have to be careful with primary colors like blue, because let's say you're working with something that's red and you add blue, well, now it's all of a sudden going to be violet, and you might not want it to be violet. So it's really thinking about how where you want to go with that, what the end result is going to be.
Is there a TVPaint discount offered through your site?
Yes, if you join up on our website for a membership, there's a 30% discount for TVPaint, and that discount is basically the cost. You'll get the same amount back as what you spent on our membership, so it's kind of a wash. So it's kind of a cool thing. Basically, yeah.
And a little slightly off topic, but still on Creature Art Teacher. We have the prints that are currently on sale.
Yes. So going over to Creature Art Teacher, on our live stream last Friday, I did a digital painting demonstration, and I did a elephant and a lion in a standoff. And there was a lot of requests for us to do that as a print. And so we did. And so that's available over at creatureartteacher.com under our prints and merchandise section. Just click in there and you'll be able to find the print in there. That's currently, there's only 100 for sale.
And you will film this and put it together and play it. You'll do a little video first.
Yes. Yes. I definitely I'll show the progression. So here's his little roar.
Rawr.
Rawr. I don't know how well you can see it. So many papers.
Yeah, I can see it. Looks like they can see it real well from what I'm seeing.
Roar. So you can see that roar.
Rawr.
So you can see how he comes down a little bit and then goes up. I tried to do everything in an arc. So it starts out, remember, it starts out way back here. So it's an anticipation of him. He's sitting there, and then he comes back, like so. Comes back for the anticipation, and then he lets the roar go. Sorry, got to go fast here. And then there, and then he lets that big roar out. Roar.
Rawr.
How many drawings is that?
This is 9. 9 drawings. And there you go. So that's it. That's a paper animation for you guys.
Woohoo!
And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a blast. I always love animating for you guys. And like I said, go on over to creatureartteacher.com and check out the site. I've got all kinds of stuff there. Animation lessons, digital painting lessons, storyboarding lessons, animal drawing lessons, story writing, visual development, all kinds of stuff. We've got over 500 hours. Plus, I've got my new print available, the standoff. and click on a follow on wherever you are watching us, whatever platform you're on. Go ahead and give us a follow because it really does help us out and enables us to keep doing this with you guys. And once again, thank you so much for all the donations. That was fantastic. I really, once again, I love doing this, and I love that you guys enjoy it. So we'll be doing a lot more of these. And give us some requests. Let me see what you'd like to see me animate, and we'll see if we can do some more down the road. But until then, go out and have an amazing, amazing, safe, beautiful weekend. And if you're an artist, going out there and put some, I don't care if you're an artist or not, going out and that's what we should be doing as human beings. And right now, the world could use a lot of it. So do that. Be safe, and I'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.
Put your grocery cart away.
And put your grocery cart away.
Cowboy Bebop.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Cowboy